Let's have a nice long chat. Been a really long time since we've done one of these. And I'll preface it by saying there's no bad news. A lot of times you see a video like this and it's like something terrible happened. Something really awful happened. We got to share some news that is difficult to hear. Nothing like that is going on. Okay, this is kind of the opposite. It's the other sort of check-in. But there is some stuff I do want to address. And I want to fill you in. And I want to kind of connect with all of you watching in a way that I haven't for a while now. And we'll get into the weeds and details. But what's going on, everybody? It's Zach from SwitchForce. Coming up on 14 years of YouTube. 14 freaking years since I was terrified to go to USC, and I begged my mom, can we get a microphone? I'd like to try this YouTube thing. It's worked out fantastically. And next week, the first game I've helped out with will be shipping. Immortals Vavium comes out next Tuesday, and I'm so pumped. I just finished my retail playthrough. I didn't develop the game. Let's be clear. I didn't code it or program it or design it level. I helped with video stuff behind the scenes. I made a lot of front-facing videos for the studio, Ascendant Studios, and for the game. I helped with a lot of things company-wise in that realm and then marketing-wise. So I wasn't on the design team, but I do feel like I was a little part of it. And so I have an insane amount of pride and happiness and just enthusiasm for this game and for the team and for it releasing in the state and the quality that it is. I think it's going to really, really surprise. And man, actually playing through it from start to finish it was a joy. It was one of the best game experiences because I had a little part to do with it. Helping it in some small capacity get to the finish line just felt really good. So that's next week. I'm coming up on 2 full years living in Arizona, which is crazy. It'll be October soon, and that's sort of my move-anniversary. I've come into the impossible heat. It feels like home, which is pretty cool. I am also in a bit of a stalemate, I feel, with some of the content creation stuff. And so I want to address that and kind of get your feedback. So get your fingers ready, typing, thoughts. Something smells real good. I'm just looking for sort of some feedback. I feel like we haven't talked in a really long time, and I feel like I haven't given, the type of energy needed to have a strong connection lately. And I want to change that, and I want to refocus and refuel that element of me and of you and of the channel. And I'm looking for your input on how best to get that done. And if you've got criticism, have at it. If you got things that you hate about the channel, things that you wish were different, things you want more of, whatever you want to say, this is your opportunity to be vocal and be heard. And I will be reading and receptive to all feedback. In fact, I appreciate feedback no matter where it falls on that scale of negative to positive, because you're the people that keep this channel going, and you're the people that I want to make sure I am doing right by. I want to read it all, and I want to read all your feedback because I normally don't. And we'll fess up about that in a minute or two. Okay, so SwitchForce has been through many iterations, right? It started off as a channel with 3 dudes, me, my brother Jake, and my best friend Gabe, and we just immersed ourselves in Switch. Didn't know if the system was going to succeed or fail, but we said, hey, we love Nintendo, we're going all in. And I'd always wanted to do more Nintendo coverage. Boom, here we go. Then Jake went his own way. Then Gabe had to go his own way. And it basically became me for a very long time. And then Animal Crossing hit, and we built an insanely beautiful, brilliant community. And that's the most fun I've had, I think, with the channel ever, because it was just so fertile. It was so fun. There was so much new happening. There was updates left and right. It was very exciting. There was a lot of enthusiasm. We built up the Switch Strong Discord, had a ton of great friendships and moments and new connections, new people, a really amazing time. And it bums me out to this day that Nintendo abandoned that game in the way that they did. Since then, I feel like I've been looking for something to sort of really grab onto, and I haven't quite found it. And so I would like to talk to you about that, because I've been waiting for a new console for a long time. Ain't coming for at least a year. Been hoping that Zelda Tears of the Kingdom would be sort of the next big touchstone. And while that game is fantastic, I don't feel like I attached onto it in the way that I thought I might, or in the way that I thought YouTube might. I do all the great news stuff, and I always try my best to, really bring you the rumors, the leaks, the news, the reports, breaking stuff, and give you a level-headed, honest, factual-based, detail-oriented reply slash, summary, but with my own twist, my own personality, and then my own input, which I try to be as spot on as I possibly can and not BS you and not make things up and not act dumb and, just really look at things and say, okay, this clearly is not right. This clearly is true. And, I've had a pretty good track record this year. Call in directs when people said there'd be no directs, things of that sort. That will always be a part of the channel, right? This sort of news show, Good Morning Mario, will always be there. But in supplement to that, I found it hard to connect, to come up with content that is connective. And I feel like back in the OG SwitchForce days when I had Jake and Gabe, our banter and our personalities, our sort of intermingling really created a great space to just connect. And that's kind of gone. Obviously, it's just me. And here's where I'll be really brutally honest. I've had anxiety and depression for most of my life. I've reflected back on my childhood and man, there were a lot of warning signs we probably should have addressed earlier. But the good news is I've taken many, many steps via therapy, via self-reflection, via medication to get that to a really great place. And I feel like it's not something I bear or something I deal with, but something more that I've found a way to just be happy and be in a really good spot. I have a few days here and there, but they're so few and far between that I feel very lucky and very proud that I've put so much effort into working on that it doesn't negatively impact me really that much. And one of the steps that I took was a few years back, I decided that I would try and ignore as much of YouTube as I physically possibly could without being irresponsible. And maybe that sounds gross or crazy, but especially since Animal Crossing, I really try not to look at anything because I find one of the biggest triggers to rumination and spiraling and frustration and anxiety and worry and concern and negativity more than anything is paying attention to the everyday ebbs and flows of a channel, the everyday ebbs and flows of people's opinion of you, the everyday ebbs and flows of how YouTube works. I think it's a very broken, held together by shoestring type website that algorithmically never makes any sense, and I choose to step out of that part. But the downside of that is I've stepped out of some of the connection with you, with the people that have been here. And even though we don't have the Animal Crossing game to unite around, maybe there's other ways. Would you like to see a bunch of live streams? Would you like to see a bigger focus on a member program? Do you think that there's a really good way that we can still connect even if we don't have this crown jewel of a game that everybody plays? I'm totally open to a multitude of things. Like I said, the Good Morning Mario stuff will always be there. What's supplementing that? I have resisted the live stream member train for a long time because I thought that it was very stressful for me, but I'm realizing that it's not so much, that there are other elements that are far more stressful that I'd like to avoid. And I won't even bring them up. If you suggest them, I'll consider them, but that is not something I'm really viewing negatively. I view it very positively. And I thought that I'm kind of a weirdo. I don't have really favorite YouTubers that I feel very close or connected to. So it's hard for me to know what brings that connection for you, right? So if live streams and a member program would be a really great emphasis, I'm down to give my all to that and make it fantastic. And I know that I can. It's not about can I or can I, it's about choices and what you align your time with. I have worked with the Senate Studios for a year, so I've spent a lot of time there. I've given myself the sort of breaks and separation I need to keep mental health in a great space, which I feel is most important. And I'm very, very happy and proud and good. So it's worked. But I do feel like there is room to grow. I do feel like there are new opportunities, and I do feel like I would like to connect better. And it's something I noticed that I've really pushed away and really avoided because I thought that was in my best interest, if that makes sense. But there's ways to go about that aren't completely avoidant, that still don't put me in this box of worrying about numbers and comments and all of that. So what do you think would be a great way to enhance our interaction, to get more out of SwitchForce? Look, we're not going to have a new console for at least a year and a half, around there. So would you want to see me stream a bunch of games that I'm interested in? Would you like to see a focus on a member program that offers more interesting exclusive content? Would you like a solo podcast? Because let's be real, I don't have a ton of friends. Would you like me to just continue what I'm doing? It's difficult, I think, when you're in a daily YouTube recording spot. There are plenty of channels out there that make one big video a week or even a month. And so they can have their best idea just sit there and boil, right? They can cook it in the oven, they can bake it, they can sauce it up, they can, what word am I looking for? They can, I want to say integrate it, but that's not, they can season it. They can make it taste good. And I don't have that option. Like, I'm making content on the regular. That's how I've established my channels. That's how they've been. That's how I continue to exist on this platform. So it's a never-ending cycle of, like, you got to always be doing stuff. And so it gets tricky to know, like, what to do, what not to do. There's an infinite amount of things I could do, but I don't want to do things that feel like a waste to me or feel like a waste to you. And sometimes less is more. Sometimes more is more. It's just the way it works. So I guess my really core question is, would you like to see more from SwitchForce, and what would you like to see? Would you like to see live streams? Would you like to see reviews? Would you like to see just gameplay videos? Do you have a different idea? I feel like the YouTube video space hasn't really evolved for VOD content in a very long time. I think streams have really become the evolution, and there's no new thing. When I first started, walkthroughs were everywhere and everything, and now they're kind of nothing, but nothing has really replaced it except streaming. There's not a ton of innovation on the VOD front, and maybe there just isn't in the gaming space. I don't really know. Someone will probably come up with something, and at that point, we can try it. But for right now, streams and member stuff seems to be sort of my best guess at what would be an exciting way to develop the channel further, especially given that there's no Animal Crossing and there's no new console. With that being said, I'm still very, very proud of the content that I do make. I'm very proud of the productivity that I do have. I'm very proud of the consistency, and my mental health has supported and allowed me to have that consistency through ups and downs. You probably know or remember that I lost my best friend Gabe, who was an integral part of the channel, nearly a year ago. I can't believe it's been so long. It's been a year, and I think in some cases that could have collapsed the channel, and it didn't. And I'm happy that it didn't. I'm really glad that it continues, and it continues, and it will continue. And it has made things a bit weird. And so I guess this is the only slightly sad part of this video is I do miss chunks of YouTube that were very, very tied to Gabe. We ran this channel together for 8 years, and we talked about it every day, all the time. And so there's a big part of my day that is changed. And it's not just YouTube, it's on a friend level as well. We didn't just talk about freaking SwitchForce, but for me, I think when I think about why have I felt a little bit off or in a lull or in a rut or stagnant with YouTube this year, I think that's possibly the big culprit. I think having that dramatic shift in routine, reliability, and just camaraderie really did take a toll. And on top of Animal Crossing phasing out, this was now another big change that I had to deal with, and it wasn't a positive one. With that being said, I think that there's great opportunity to move forward and create awesome connection like we had in the Animal Crossing era, like we had in the original me, Jake, Gabe era, like we had with the Switch Strong Discord, which was no small feat. That was not a small community. It was really large, and it makes me bummed that, it was created around Animal Crossing, so I understand why it's kind of faded. But I guess I wish that it hadn't faded as much as it did. And I've got a fantastic fall. I'm looking forward to so many things. I think one of the best things I've done is diversified my life. So I'm really looking forward to Marvel Snap releases. I'm looking forward to continuing on with the Senate Studios. I'm looking forward to travel I've planned. I am downright ecstatic about the Detroit Lions seasons and the games I'm going to go to. Obviously looking forward to visiting family and friends. So I've got a lot of different things that are keeping life really fun, really exciting, and always looking ahead with gratitude and with positivity and with an excitement, a zest, a lust for life that I'm so glad that I maintain and have, and I don't feel like that'll ever leave. I'm really, really lucky that I wake up every morning like pumped for the day and pumped for what's new. And even if it's as dumb as like a new card coming to Marvel Snap or a new movie coming out, like I just have a real love for living, and I appreciate everybody out there that has helped make that possible and that has helped be a big part of that and a guiding force throughout the last nearly 14 years, which is freaking crazy. I don't think anyone expects to do anything for 14 years. People just don't really have careers that keep them in the same position that long. And I know this is different. It's self-employed. It's YouTube. You can take it or leave it. But man, been a long time. A fun life update for you that's completely irrelevant is like I completely stopped buying shoes. I was down bad in the shoe game. I was getting like a new pair a week back in the Ghost Robo days. And that's like gone. I can't even remember the last time I got shoes. I wear the same pair every day. It's really relieving, and I look back and say, dang, Zach, you were crazy. What were you doing? Why were you? Why? I'm also rewatching Lost for the first time in 15 years. That was my favorite show as a kid. Still holds up, man. Still holds up so well. Love it so much. If you haven't ever seen Lost, it's on Hulu, and it's freaking so good. I cannot believe it holds up as well as it does 15 years later. The show's almost 20 years old. Like, it's bananas. Man, people can hate on the ending all they want. That is a ride that is worth taking. It's such a good ride. And I want to take us on an even better ride through the fall, through 2024, and into the next console. So when that big, beautiful, high-powered Switch does land, we are ready to just take it and run. So let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Appreciate all of you so much. Good to just kind of talk and share and let you know that things are very good. And I'm real glad about it. So until next time, everybody, thanks so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay happy, stay positive out there. Love you lots. SwitchForce out.